Again, our top story this morning, interim mayor announced city council voting in the North Carolina head of the Bar Association attorney, Charlotte attorney Robert Harrington, as the city's interim mayor when Villisle steps down next week at the end of this month. Joining us now with reaction is one of our own leaders, Mecklenburg County Sheriff Garry McFadden. Sheriff, what do you know about him? What are you hoping to see?
Well, I don't know anything really about him, but what I hope to see is that he understands that there is a lot of issues within our city council. It has been publicized, people talk about it, and so, you know, the water cooler whispers, and so we would love to see unity among everyone, including county commissioners, city council, mayor, and everybody else. We would like to see that.
Okay, and so would that be one of the priorities that you'd like to see?
Absolutely. We're all here in Mecklenburg County together, City of Charlotte. We just need to work better together and put aside our differences and do what we say that we want to do, and we're working for the general public or the public. We all say that during the campaign time, and we're working for you and all of this. But I think that after this election or before this election, the big election that's going to happen in like 18 months, I think that we need to come together and just really work for the betterment of our community.
Yeah, and when Mayor Villisle steps down, there's a little bit of a transition gap before he is sworn in. Any concern there when it comes to public safety?
It will be the learning curve. I can tell you very few people talk about public safety with I would say, with meaningful thought. We asked a question about how many people in the jail or detention center or how many people being shot, but we want to have these conversations and have a true summit and a true, not a panel discussion. We all need to come together to talk about public safety in Mecklenburg County and the surrounding areas. We really need to do that, and not just the questions that people ask us all the time, but what are we really going to do about the community violence, the youth violence, the takeovers, overcrowding of the detention center, substance abuse, and mental health. We really need to have a great working relationship around the city and the county.
Yeah, do you feel like everyone or a lot of people are saying that the talks are great, we need to put words to action?
Absolutely. We have talked enough. We I guess portrayed that we are doing this and we're getting the right answers, but a lot of us are not invited to the table. And frankly, we need to be invited to the table, and we are sometimes the second thought sometimes when we're talking about the criminal justice system, crime, and all of that. And so I think that this is an opportunity for this young man to say, we want to merge that. We want to bring the people together. And sure, we can have the summits and have the meet and greets and all of that, but we need to be intentional about fighting crime in our city, criminal justice system, and put all the other things to aside for a moment, because this is what is going to really destroy our city and county.
I'm sure Mr. Harrington's going to appreciate that you just referred to him as a young man, by the way, because you said something about seeing his granddaughters. But anyway, one of the things he did talk to Ben and Megan earlier this week was about affordable housing. I think that's something that you also share in common, is the challenges that affordable housing or lack thereof presents for Charlotte.
Well, we talk about affordable housing all the time, and for me to talk about affordable housing, yesterday 89 people were evicted by my deputies yesterday. That's 89 people can afford their house or their apartment. And so what is the root cause of it? And it's income. We haven't talked about, can you afford this house to make it affordable if I only make $17 an hour? And so when we talk about affordable housing, I hear it all the time. It is almost a catch-all. Well, let's talk about affordable housing, because that's one of the topics that people love to hear about. But I drive around the city every day, and I see a lot of housing being built, a lot of apartments being built. subdivisions are being built. And so who can afford that house? Who can afford that apartment? But do we provide them the means to afford that apartment or house? That is what we need to be talking about. Employment, economic development, we can have all these catchwords, but when my deputies evict 89 people in one day, today I think that we're going to evict about 36 people, ask them about affordable housing.
Do evictions happen every day? And that's what your deputies do. That is part of the role of the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, right?
We evict someone out of their home each and every day. Monday through Friday is what I'm keeping up with most of all. And it bothers us because our deputies are actually removing people from their homes. And most people believe that these are people who are involved in criminal activity. Mostly not. Is this a father or a mother or a couple just can't afford to make ends meet, behind on their rent, behind on their mortgage, and they're eventually evicted out of their homes.
And the connection where it intersects with public safety.
Well, here's where I think about when it intersects with public safety, and I said this to somebody last night when we were talking about it. Out of those 89 people who were evicted yesterday, this morning when they wake up, a father may be sitting in a van with his wife and his 2 children. When that child says, "Dad, I am hungry," that father is going to do whatever he thinks is necessary to provide that for his child. That's the true reality that we don't talk about. Intersection, again, out of these 89 people, if one of these families are connected to someone inside the detention center, commonly referred to as the jail, they cannot afford to support that young person or young man or person inside a detention center. Yesterday when I was talking to my staff, we have people that are housed inside our detention center for very small crimes. When we said small crimes, larcenies, trespassing, and they cannot afford to leave. And so their income level does not permit them to have the funds, or their family have the funds for them to bond themselves out or leave the detention center. So it is a domino effect.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. And so the detention center as it stands today, because this is a constant issue, isn't it?
It is absolutely a constant issue. And, you know, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it until someone says, okay, how can we help you? And then when they come to say, how can we help you? If I tell you how you can help us, will we receive that help? Yesterday, I think we were at 2113, which is crazy. Again, our capacity, 1791. Today, I think that we are still hovering around 2,100. So that means about 300 men and women are sleeping on the floor, or as we say, on the carts, and we see no relief in sight for them not coming to the detention center. The summer is here. There will be things that they will be involved in that will most likely bring them to the jail.
How about the juvenile detention center as it stands?
Well, we're not calling it the juvenile detention center anymore. We're calling it the detention center north,
Okay.
or jail north. That, as they say, that ship has sailed about the juveniles. We are hopefully opening up August, September. Of course, when we talk about opening up in August, then there's somebody that can't meet the needs for our desires. That means that we're planning something, and all of a sudden the contractor backs out or cannot meet the needs. So, you know, we're still hoping for August, but now it's looking like the beginning of September. But we're well on our way for recruiting. We thank everybody for who wanting to be a Mecklenburg County deputy or detention officer. We have a great people coming. We have a class graduating on Friday. We have one starting about 2 weeks from now, and one starting about 2 weeks after that. So 2 classes in July, one in August, and one is graduating on Friday. So we are doing very well with that. And of course, everybody knows one of our partners will be the federal government bringing people in, but it will not be ICE. Let me make sure we clear that up. Somebody said, well, ICE is coming to the detention center. No, they're not bringing people, ICE detainees, to our detention center. These are people on federal charges.
Okay, federal charges. Speaking of which, there are about 100 people that need to go to the state prison, right? But they're still in the detention center.
Absolutely. We found out that we have people who have been sentenced in Mecklenburg County for a number of months now and are not being taken to the North Carolina Adult Corrections, which is commonly referred as DOC, Department of Correction. And so that is an issue. That is a problem. I'm with my staff yesterday looking at those numbers, and we have a problem with that. They have the same problems, but we just want someone to listen to us. We're the largest detention center in the state, and we have the largest burden besides the state. And so we just want them to listen. You know, as they say, come and get your people. They've already been sentenced. Come and get your people. And we don't want anybody's headache at this moment, but we have to deal with that.
What do you think, and how can you work with CMPD, who said that they are going to enforce parental responsibility when it comes to juveniles committing crime and not making curfew?
Well, they're going to do what they need to do, and just like the surrounding townships. We are not going to tell someone not to bring somebody to the detention center or not to arrest someone. But if we can see things like trespassing, I think that we looked at it yesterday. I had 14 people still inside our detention center for trespassing, and they are being held there. We believe we have somebody who's been there since January. If that person has served that much of time for trespassing, I think they will be at the point of time served. So we can't tell CMPD what to do about these parents, but they're going to do what they need to do, and we just have to work through it. We don't really have a problem with that. They're going to enforce the law. We can't tell them not to enforce the law. If I said don't do that, then my critics will, just go crazy. So we're going to just work with them as best that we can.
And real quick, Sheriff, we're hearing about these scammers impersonating law enforcement. So what exactly are we seeing or should be looking out for?
Well, this has been going on probably for 2 or 3 years at the most. They've gotten very clever. They look at our websites like anybody else and take the information from our websites. And like everybody said, we want to be transparent. So being transparent has now caused scams. So they have our phone numbers, they have our names. And all you look on that website and just take a name and pretend you are that person. I would say, please do not pay anybody with a credit card, a gift card, and we do not charge you for not going to grand jury or court. These are the scams. Other scams are they find out through your Facebook that you have a grandson, and they'll say that he's in jail and you need to bond him out. Be careful with that. That may not be true. Grandsons do go to jail, but be careful about that. But the scammers are very clever, and of course AI and all the other things now, it makes it better for them. So they're definitely out there, but just be careful. The sheriff is not going to ask you for a gift card or a credit card. If that amount is so tremendous, come down to the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office and pay that fine that they believe that you are supposed to pay. That is a scam.
All right, there you go. Good reminders. Thank you, Sheriff. I need to let you go at this time. Coming up at 9:20, you're watching Live Impact News.